Okay, so yeah, I will get started here. So again, welcome to this webinar using augmented reality without CAD models. I'm Jack Riley. I'm the AR IoT manager here at PDSVISION, and we'll go through this, and I'll kind of talk through how to use augmented reality without CAD models. Again, if you just hopped on, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and I'll make sure I address them before the end. So with that, we can get into it. So one of the biggest objections I hear after demoing augmented reality is, this looks great, but we don't have CAD models, so we can't use any of that. And so the point of this session is to sort of debunk that and show that you don't need CAD models, you don't need good CAD models, you don't need to have CAD models of everything in order to use augmented reality and still get benefits from it. So some of the topics that I plan to cover here are video and image-based work instructions using Vuforia Expert Capture, using Vuforia Studio to do IoT connected data logging and smart connected products. And those first 3 bullet points are sort of what I view as fully no CAD augmented reality. Then we get into using location data without CAD, but still having it being anchored to something in reality. And then the final 3 bullet points, final 2, I guess, 2 bullet points next are using LiDAR scans to quickly create CAD models. You don't have, as mature and complete as a CAD model that you made from scratch, but you can still use all these features and get all the benefits from AR in a couple minutes using this LiDAR scan. And then I'll close off with some services that PDSVISION offers on this topic to help you get started with AR even if you don't have CAD. So the first thing I want to just give an overview, if you are not familiar with PDSVISION's AR offerings and PTC's AR offerings, here are the 2 products I'm going to be talking about today. First is Vuforia Expert Capture, and this was originally a CAD-free video and image first-person capturing expert knowledge platform. It has since grown to incorporate CAD models and incorporates artificial intelligence as well, but that started as a video-only or video-first platform. Vuforia Studio has always been CAD heavy, the more CAD heavy of the Vuforia suite. And this is where you'd see complex CAD animations, like exploded view of a motor where it explodes and then comes back together on your tabletop. That's sort of the classic example. But Vuforia Studio has features that allow it to be really useful even without CAD. And one of those features is the ease of IoT connectivity. So you're able to really easily and quickly create let's say an iPad experience that has a smart connected product connection that you're able to then control, log data from, log data to, and have a very sophisticated and sort of slick experience without any CAD at all. So I will go through and show both of those. So I will do my best to always call out whenever I'm showing an example which product we're actually talking about. And so hopefully that'll be clear. But yeah, the 2 products are Vuforia Expert Capture and Vuforia Studio. So first thing I want to show is sort of just the bread and butter of video and image-based expert capture. So this is what expert capture was originally, the entirety of it. And this involves first-person video, images, step-by-step instructions.
Using a Phillips head screwdriver, unscrew the top cover screw and remove cover. Remove the joystick cover.
And so it's going to take you through step-by-step instructions, images, text. It'll also, I guess on the back end, be logging all of this. So in addition to having step-by-step instructions with first-person point of view, where an expert can talk through what they're doing and sort of give you that over-the-shoulder mentoring approach, you also have data logging on the back end. So here on this button, you can see that's where you could add feedback and take photos as needed. And the whole time it's logging who is doing this, who is going through the procedure, how long are they taking, what version are they using, are they completing each step? So you have all those capabilities still. And here's just another example of this. So this would be assembling a little airplane model.
Step 1. Make sure you have all 4 pieces needed to complete this procedure.
Insert the wing through the main body slot and ensure that it is centered. And I wanted to show this version as well, just to show you can do annotations, circle things, box things, add text as needed. So going back to the first step, had a labeled images. And so you can see different labeled images. And so this is, again, no CAD necessary, no CAD used in this. It's just a first-person video of what do they do, how do they do it, what are the steps, what are the instructions. And I'm showing you this in Vuforia Expert Capture. That is, if this is all you plan to do, I would generally suggest Vuforia Expert Capture as the better option, because it is more built for quick and easy first-person video capture. But Vuforia Studio could do all these same tasks. You could have step-by-step instructions that each step has video and images and text associated with it. That's something you can absolutely do in Vuforia Studio. It takes a little longer in Studio, but there's reasons you might want to do that. If, for example, you needed it to be an on-prem install, whereas Expert Capture is all cloud-based. Vuforia Studio has the option of on-prem or cloud-based. So for defense contractors, ITAR situations, that might be the better option. And as we'll get into in just one second here, if certain steps needed IoT connectivity, so like step 4, you needed to be able to know what the most recent reading is from a meter, from a PLC, you can have that information at your fingertips on step 4 without needing to go into another system. So that'd be another example of why you might choose Studio, which has a little longer time to value, versus Expert Capture, which is the quickest way to capture, record, and share and distribute first-person expert procedure knowledge. So moving into Vuforia Studio again, no CAD is part of this procedure, but in this example, we are on the left-hand side logging values to, in this case, could be a data table in ThingWorx. We're able to see the latest logged versions and get the data from there, so we can see what was the last work life consumable that was used. On the right-hand side, this would be like a work order that we're logging all the values at once. We could potentially see if it's verified or not and get the latest version from ThingWorx. And so just really easy and quick to log data directly to, again, in this case, it's ThingWorx, and have that information just there in a consumable iPad experience in this case. Maybe a little more fun to look at. This is a smart connected product example. And so it's a Raspberry Pi. And again, using the ThingWorx connection, this is a Raspberry Pi using Kepware to connect to ThingWorx. And then from there, we're grabbing the data into Vuforia Studio. And so here we're able to view sensor data from a Raspberry Pi, and we're able to write to it. And so here we can change the color of the LEDs from the iPad experience itself. And then in real time, we're able to get different values when we change the orientation, acceleration, pressure, humidity, all of whatever we have sensors for, we can get the data from. And I don't have a video for this, but another sort of fun thing you can do is turn smart connected products into voice commanded products. And so if you create an AR experience for a RealWear headset or a HoloLens in Vuforia Studio, you can incorporate voice commands so that you can say, instead of choosing from this dropdown, you can say unplanned downtime, and it will update that way. And so you can read and write to smart connected products and use voice commands all with Vuforia Studio. So this is, I think, especially for the last slide, it looks simple, but really powerful way to turn what would be paperwork instructions into a digital thread example, a digital thread component that has more digitized experience, kind of bringing into a more modern and easily trackable example without needing to have CAD for everything. In this case, so far we haven't had CAD for anything, and we're still able to use all of this. So that first portion was what I can kind of consider the entirely no CAD. We're not even, we don't have anything close to CAD. We're just using videos, images, text, IoT data, and using that in Vuforia Studio or Expert Capture, however it makes the most sense. But now we're getting into what I'm going to kind of call quasi-CAD, where we don't actually have any CAD models we can see, but we're using location data to anchor things into 3D space. And so what that looks like, this is Vuforia Expert Capture using a relatively new feature, which is mobile capture. So if you're looking on the left side of the screen here, it is scanning the area. So we're getting a LiDAR scan of, in this case, a 3D printer, and sort of filling it in. And then when we're content with that, we'll pause the capture or pause the scan and make an area map. And this is all in this case, an iPad using Vuforia Expert Capture, or Vuforia Vantage is the iPad app. And once you do that scan, we're able to add locations for each step. And so you tap a part, and then you can add videos and images. So in this case, we're recording a video. And taking images. And then you're able to add additional steps at different locations. Not every step needs a location, but everyone has the option of a location. And then you can continue on that process of adding additional steps. And on the right, you can see more of just placing locations to different spots. And so what that looks like here in to the end user is as follows. So it guides them to the right spot, and then they're able to turn the machine on.
Go
in this
around
case.
to the back of the 3D printer and press the on button to turn the printer on.
And then the next step guides them to the next location, and so on and so forth. And so all of this is without ever having CAD. Under the control settings of without ever having CAD and without ever actually seeing what the iPad is creating, we're able to still get that information. And so a more industrial use case is guiding the user to the right lever, and then giving them instructions for what to do there. And so this is, I think, a really powerful way to add what I kind of consider true augmentation. Kind of the whole goal of augmented reality is to augment in the 3D location you're actually at. And so this allows you to, again, with no actual CAD, very quickly and easily go through and do the first person point of view. So one example I often use is you have your expert create these work instructions using expert capture. They have a headset on and they go through and they do their job. They pull the lever, they say next step, they go through and they do their procedure. And then what I often do is I'll come in behind them with an iPad and just go location 1, tap, next, location 2, tap, and then we combine those two and have a really mature and fully developed AR experience that has both first-person expert guidance, video images as needed, as well as location data. And so all that comes together to make, like I said, a really mature AR experience. And as we were seeing on the last slide, you can do them all at once as well. You can do the scan and then do it all via iPad as well. And we may see that more as it comes up. But generally it's easiest to do the hands-free headset and then come in with the iPad and add location at the end. And that's very easy to incorporate as well. And so some more examples of that here. This is a server rack. And again, it's just guiding the user to the correct location. And at that point, they have videos and instructions that come up. And this is an example that I made in
locate and turn on the power switch.
In just a few minutes. Took an iPad, did a quick scan of the area, added locations, and then went from there. So very easy to add that level of augmentation even to existing experiences. So the ones I showed on the first couple slides that had no CAD, if at any point you decide you want to add CAD, you want to add those location data, it's very easy to do to incorporate those to existing models, existing procedures, as well as doing it from the start. Either one is fine. So before I go to the next step, so far we've done AR experiences that have absolutely zero CAD, that are just video and images, then went into AR experiences that have potentially videos, images, as well as IoT data that we're seeing. And then we just covered, okay, maybe we have that, but we also want it to be anchored to a specific spot. So now we're able to add using the iPad capture features of Vuforia Vantage, which is the expert capture app on your iPhone and tablet. There we're able to add different location data. But potentially that's not enough. Maybe we have more specific use cases we want. So what do we do with that case? So this is an application called Polycam, and it does LiDAR scans and photogrammetry scans. And so here I'm just doing a quick one of my laptop and desk area. And this is real speed, real time, going through and just filling in this case, it's the blue, having it be disappear so that it knows the area and the general surroundings. And so a scan like this normally takes, in the order of a minute or so, a couple minutes for bigger areas. And then you upload it, it processes on Polycam. And then at that point, you can skip ahead, you're able to use it. And so what that ends up looking like is on the left here, this photogrammetry scan. You can see it's kind of rough. It's not going to be as clean as if you had a full CAD model or even a like a 3D fly-through experience. But that's okay because we don't need it for that. What we want it to do is use it to anchor other data. And so in this case, we're going to use it to anchor IoT information about this model. So we're not actually even showing the CAD that we scanned. What we're actually showing is just CAD data that's relevant to the line. What's the temperature, what's the pressure, when was the last time it was maintained, oil temperature, etc. So all that information can be shown in the relevant location on the relevant model. So that's a very simple example that was using Vuforia Studio, and that's where we're showing IoT data that way. And so it's very, like I said, a very easy way to create CAD that we're not going to actually show. We are just going to use it to place relevant information where we need to. And then one feature that I think is often people are really excited about is again a relatively new feature from PTC, which is AI step checks or artificial intelligence step check. So that allows the users to use photos to know was a step completed correctly. So if you have to turn something to the on position, it'll then tell you, is that in the correct position or is that in the wrong position? And with enough training, you can get it very, very specific so that it knows, is it 10% away from being fully on? That's a fail. And it'll alert you when that's done correctly or incorrectly. The one drawback is that it requires, at this point, it requires you to have a CAD model to know where to look for that that kind of yes or no photo to take. So even on examples that customers that don't have CAD at all, but they want to use this really neat feature that's going to be really useful, this is what I've done in the past that's gone successfully. So this is what we just showed with Polycam. This is the result of a Polycam scan. And sort of like I said earlier, you don't need it to be beautiful or perfect. You need it to be able to guide you to the right location, and that's what we're doing here. Once you have that, you can bring it into Vuforia Expert Capture. And this is why you need the CAD, because you need to be able to place where am I going to have the user look in order to do these AI step checks. And so here I'm adding a point marker, and it's guiding you to just kind of roughly this location. And then I can give them instructions, and I can select pass fail. And then at that point, I'm able to come in here and actually train the step check AI based on that data. So this would be pass, this is fail, and all that is without any CAD. I'm now able to use this really cool feature of step check AI and have it alert the user of yes, this is correct, or no, this is not correct, without having CAD. And so this is another example of that with choosing just a small location of this whole scan, and I'm worried about this tiny little point here. Here, is this bolt there or not? And so you're able to do that and get that data again without having existing CAD. This scan took a couple minutes to do with an iPad. So what that might look like in reality. This is a server rack that I did not have CAD for, and I'm able to get here up close and say, is this installed correctly? And it knows that that was actually installed backwards. So something that you might, having never seen this before, wouldn't have clocked as being incorrect. It's able to tell you off the bat that it's not seated correctly. And here's another example. This is not pushed all the way in. So that's that fine level of granularity I was talking about. With its if it's not like 10% off, you're still able to know that's not correct versus strictly on or off. So then that brings us kind of towards the closing portion here, which are just services that PTC offers in this regard. And so one of those is a LiDAR scan assistance where we'd come with the iPad and do the LiDAR scan, and then add different location data there. That would also include going through and helping train the AI step check, as well as sorting out the work instructions themselves as well. So the process would be capture first person point of view videos that we talked about in the first couple slides, do a LiDAR scan, add those locations, and then as needed, create AI step check for the steps we care about. And that, maybe if I back up, that first part involves that polycam scan of actually getting CAD you can see. Here you see this is just the location data, so one of those first slides that we were talking about, which is all video and image based, but also has locations. So that is all that I had to cover today. If you have any questions, I'll kind of keep going for a couple minutes just to allow questions to come in. And actually, there's one slide that I think I did not get to. So let me share that now. Yeah, I think I somehow skipped this one. So this is a, if I give a little more context here. So this is using Vuforia Studio to using the polycam to do a scan of, in this case, it'd be a room, and then using Vuforia Studio to provide content relative to that room. And so here right away, it's guiding me to a location, and then there's some CAD augmentations that are here. So one being I didn't have the CAD for this doorway, but using 30 seconds of CAD knowledge, I was able to make this this arch that I put relatively where it should go and flashed it green so I know to go through this doorway. Some things to note, there's a waypoints, so it's guiding user to different locations. This is a piece of, oh sorry, I am on the wrong screen. So it's waypoints. This is a coffee maker, that's a CAD model that I have. And then back here, there's a chair that we're gonna see a CAD model of as well. So I'll let this play and sort of narrate as it's going through. So it has this green arch guiding you through this doorway. And then there's image annotations as well. So image augmentations that are living in the 3D space. So then the next doorway is red, saying don't go through that. And as you arrive at one location, it guides you to the next. Or it could also have an image like this pop up or a video pop up, depending on what you need. And then you're able to augment the CAD you do have. So maybe I have a factory and I don't have the CAD for the full factory, but I do have the CAD for one machine or a part that's made on the machine. So there you're able to use that as well. And so I see a question here. What are the typical file sizes for these types of files? Can they be compressed? So I guess there's not an easy kind of one size answer for that. So yeah, I'd have to get back to you on that. But typically they're on the order of a couple megabytes of data. So roughly the size of most of the AR CAD models we end up using anyway. And they can be, I guess, further optimized as well to make them smaller if need be. But generally they, in my experience, they've worked without needing to be compressed or changed. And most of the scans that I've done are either like objects, so like machines, cars, statues, things like that, or rooms. I personally have not done things on the order of like a factory, an entire factory. I think you'd start running into maybe limitations with Polycam itself and the memory there for scanning. But if you're just doing the locations also, I have seen it done across buildings. So sort of up to the use case there. So that's the only question I currently see here. Maybe just as a reminder, if there are any questions still coming in, we'll send out a recording of this to you since you've registered. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is on the screen right now, and I will I'll likely follow up with all of you as well in case you have any questions. But if nothing else, we can call it there. Thank you guys for your time, and yeah, I'll be reaching out shortly. Have a good one.